podcast for die-hard Chicago Bears fans. Join your host, Ryan Burheit, and me, Michael Guyton, as we dive into all things Bears. From game analysis and player insights to the latest news and fan stories, Ryan and I cover it all. Whether cheering from Soldier Field or your living room, Barely Maintaining keeps you connected to your favorite team. Now, let's get ready to bear down. Welcome, Bears fans and local Quad Cityans, all of our listeners, wherever you are. We are on episode 36, which is monumental for me. This is my first podcast, and to have 36 weeks and 36 episodes under our belt is pretty impressive to me. So, just giving a shout out to that. Famous Bears players, number 36. Doesn't ring a bell right off the hand.
I feel like 36 is a tough number in general.
Yeah, across the whole.
Yeah,
across sports, really, right? Today's episode, though, we do have a cool interview. We're gonna be playing. We interviewed Kyle Kercheval a couple weeks ago from River Bands. He's a broadcaster for the River Bands. We'll play that episode.
Jonathan Owens.
Oh, Owens, yeah, our newest favorite player.
Yeah.
So we are on episode number Jonathan Owens. Yeah, so Kyle Kercheval's on interview on this week. We'll talk about NFL draft. We got that coming up in just a few weeks here in the end of April. Ryan's got a little surprise game, I believe, here towards the middle of the episode before we play that interview. And, of course, we'll talk about NFL and what's happening around the Quad Cities, because there is some sports happening now. We got the Verbands going, we got Steamwheelers going. Storm, is Storm play right now?
Storm finished the season on Saturday. I don't know playoff wise what that looks like for them at the moment.
Gotcha. And then we had some college basketball going on, college hockey as well. So we'll talk about that. With that being said, I'm assuming there is something. I don't recall anything because it's kind of been a busy week. But there's got to be some news.
So I got Bills extended cornerback Christian Benford. It seems like they're kind of taking all of the contracts and extending them and kind of rearranging them so they have a little bit of money to work with. I know they did that with Josh Allen recently too. Ravens reach a 3-year extension with John Harbaugh. Hunter Renfrow plans to come back in 2025. He visited the Raiders and Panthers. I've always been a fan of Hunter Renfrow. He's a great route runner, even back at Clemson. He was just kind of he's that Julian Edelman type receiver. Obviously the white guy, but just great route runner and kind of always able to run those slants and quick outs type of routes.
Lucky John Gruden loves him.
Yeah.
Renfrow, man. He's a football player.
Yeah.
I like him though. He's a gamer.
One of the big signings this week, Giants signed Russell Wilson. So they're out of the quarterback race.
Weird.
Yeah.
What are they?
Yeah, well, fair.
Bucket down the road a year, I guess.
What's two different style of quarterbacks, by the way? Jameis Winston.
Tommy DeVito.
Yeah, true.
We got Cutlets, Tommy Cutlets.
Yeah, and you got Jameis Winston, who's just screw it. Somebody's down there, whether it's my teammate or not. And then you got Russell Wilson, who throws that secure ball down the field, but also like most of his passes are 5 yards. So it's just a weird quarterback room.
Mine like Drew Brees towards the end of his career, where it was just like very, very stable and like get you decent numbers, but you're not like no explosive plays. It's just check down universe, you know?
Yeah. Michael Wilson, slant over the middle. Michael Wilson, slant like that type of let's see. JJ McCarthy is actually passing all tests. I know that Vikings have been kind of I feel like they've been leading Aaron Rodgers on a little bit. They have been doing a lot of testing the waters with him, but also like I think they want McCarthy to be the starter this year if he's healthy enough. So I think they're looking for that. Like if he's not 100%, then we want to go after Aaron Rodgers. But if he is 100%, we'd rather just have McCarthy going and just have the back.
Weird world where like Aaron Rodgers is kind of like third wheeling it out here, right?
Yeah.
Basically, I mean, have like people that are like not sure about their quarterbacks, and then the Steelers who don't have a quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Steelers are pretty much it.
It's kind of what I wanted to happen to him like years ago when he was beating up on the Bears.
Yeah.
Now I almost bad for him,
I did hear
but
him do a uh looking for looking for something like the Packers. Like he almost like misses it and feels like he left something and didn't realize the rest of the NFL isn't as great as he thought it was. Like his organization was ran pretty well.
right, right, yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
and I mean, and regardless of, I mean, and I think his talent probably is slipping if you're asking my opinion.
Yeah, yeah,
But super talented guy, and it's like, oh, you need more than that, man.
yeah,
Who's on the ball? You know what I mean? Like all that matters. Who's
yeah,
blocking for you? And then of course, like it's real easy to when you have 300,000 people in Green Bay yelling at you versus 10 million people in that city alone
yeah,
yelling at you. You know what I mean? So
yeah. A couple
yeah, I
other
think
things were Titans signed James Proche. Uh, Another big one in this week was Patriots signed Stephon Diggs. Um, which was crazy to me that it was a 3-year deal. Uh, to take the
enough.
risk on him for 3 years was pretty odd.
Yeah, got injured for the Texans last year, so um, didn't finish the season. I don't believe as far as playing, and then older
Yeah,
and if you're asking my opinion, probably locker room questions.
yeah. And then the some of the just headlines were Micah Parsons and the Demarcus Lawrence beef that's been going on. I don't know if you saw that, but um, Demarcus Lawrence was
Yeah,
basically
yeah,
saying Micah Parsons wasn't all that, and just going back and forth, and so that's just been fun to watch. And then Puka Nakua saying he wants to retire by 30. Like,
yeah. I get that.
yeah, I mean,
Um, you're a wide receiver, so
yeah.
be lucky to make
I think it was
this with you.
Donald Driver that I saw talking about it, and uh one of the broadcasters that never played football was talking about it and how it was such a ridiculous thing to say, and obviously he just doesn't love football and this and that. And Donald Driver's like, that's coming from a guy who's never played football. Like, no, like he might love it, but also he still probably wants to live the rest of his life like a normal human being instead of just being
Get
hit
one,
all the time.
get in one fender bender every week for 17 weeks in a row.
Yeah,
Then tell me you want to keep driving a car around the next year. You know what I mean?
right.
That's like the equivalency of it to me.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, like if you have kids and stuff, man, other things become way more important.
yeah,
Like especially like what happens to those guys if they play forever.
yeah,
Like if you're wide, I mean, that's AB, huh?
yeah.
That's my that's my first evidence in this trial would be I present to you AB, wide
Right.
receiver that 5 years or whatever.
Yeah,
Remember even Aaron Hernandez, in those documentaries or whatever, him talking about taking a big hit, and he's like, called home talking to his mom, and he's like, "Yeah, I woke up." He's like, "I felt like I was 80 years old the next day," and this dude's is like 21 at this point. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Couldn't
Well,
walk right and stuff. You know what I mean? So I
you
get it.
and you and Doug last week were just talking about a player you guys had ran into, and I cannot remember his name. Um, but how he had just retired the year before, and like just like was like he barely could move a bunch of times.
Yeah,
I can't remember what the player was, but I know you and Doug from the Steamers just talked about that.
yeah. Well, and I mean that's a lot of players, and they're 30 years old. You know, I'm turning 45 in a couple weeks, so it's like to be in that position, then you still got to live 60 more years or 50 more years or whatever.
Right,
Oh, I understand it, and I think it's great wherewithal because you do love the sport. And as guys get older, you keep trying to do the stuff that you shouldn't be doing. You know what I mean?
right.
Um, so I can appreciate it, and that's probably why he'll be a great whatever he does after football.
Yeah,
Is like a lot of those guys try to hang on too long, and then it just becomes nothing. And then you're like, just a Canadian League player, or
yeah,
just hanging on.
yeah.
Which nothing wrong with that, but at what point is like your health and your family and stuff? Because there's so many jobs around football that aren't playing football.
Exactly. And it just shows like he has bigger plans. Like,
Watch him play. That dude's running 110 miles an
yeah,
hour as hard as he can every play. So I can appreciate that, you know? It's
Yeah,
either you play like that and retire at 30, or you're like Tyler Lockett, where you run out of bounds, you don't take the hits, you know what I mean? And then you also get crap for that. Oh, he doesn't want to get the extra yards, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Or he wants to play for 40 years, you know?
right,
Um, I can appreciate anybody who wants to keep their brain intact.
yeah. And then from there, NFL news wise, it was just a lot, it was a lot of people doing the smoke screen kind of draft game that everybody plays kind of this time of year. Uh,
Right.
doing well, it's still up in the air who will draft, like the Titans or Browns. Yeah, we're looking for a quarterback here, or like things like that. So it's just been all over the place.
One of the storylines on NFL I was going to ask you about, they had Brock Purdy saying 49ers were tired in 2024 after multiple playoff
I
deep.
did see that.
Like, yeah, the Chiefs aren't tired. I mean, the Bills aren't tired. You know what I mean? It's like
Right.
everyone's tired at that point, Brock. I mean, I'm sorry to tell you, bud.
Yeah.
I don't like hearing that. Um, you had a bunch of injuries and you guys played like crap.
Yeah. Definitely.
And it was crazy because they were talking about Kyle Shanahan losing his job. And I was like, if he's on the market, good luck.
Yeah, it's not. It's gonna be a long time.
Like, you're not going to find another one of him, you know, like an offensive guru anyway.
Right. So.
I saw a stat that I wanted to mention to you that I thought was funny. It said like I guess it was Jalen Hurts and maybe Pat Mahomes. I
Mhm.
don't know. They're talking about two quarterbacks, or no, maybe it was no, it was Jalen Hurts and Jaden Daniels, the two NFC championship teams. Yeah, because that was the whole quote was that Jalen Hurts and Jaden Daniels had been born, went through Pop Warner, played high school football, played college football, both went into NFL, got to the NFC championship before the Cowboys did.
Wow.
Those guys were born, the Cowboys have not been in the NFC championship. So
Well,
I just
there
want to
was
add up. Yeah, because
there.
Cowboys really like to crap on other fan bases, and it's like you've done literally nothing. You're right there with the Browns.
Right. I did just see another thing too pop up a little earlier that I forgot to bring up too. The Packers' proposal to ban the tush push has support within the competition committee. So I don't love
Yeah,
it, but I just
no, because I'm
stop it.
stop
Like,
it, dude.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, you're a crybaby.
yeah.
Also, it's Green Bay, so it's like quit bitching because you got beat on that play like 50 times in that
And they can't
playoff
even
game.
run their own. They can't even run a quarterback sneak. They tried and failed multiple times. So
No, but I do understand the argument because they're like, if it's about player safety, like, because literally they did the tush push, and I think it was Kansas City or somebody, in the maybe a Super Bowl, but immediately after the game, the dude needed back surgery.
yeah,
He got injured on that play or whatever, and um, you're sacrificing a lot. It just so happens one team's really good at it, man.
yeah. And nobody else is figuring out how to do it.
Yeah, I'm all for like finding wrinkles in the system, you know.
Yeah, I mean that's what Bill Belichick was great at. Was he kind of studied the rule book? Yeah, there was a couple times that obviously he went too far, didn't go like that kind of thing. But he like it never seemed like what he did was illegal. It just was like, hey, that's not right. But
Yeah,
also, I
it's
guess we should make
the
a rule for
parameters
it.
of the rule book, right.
Yeah,
It's just like the Ben Johnson like fake stumble fumble.
yeah,
It's like that's poor sportsmanship. Oh, is it, or is it great acting
yeah,
and a plus yarded play? You know.
and risky because it's not necessarily like
Oh, you could actually
it's
throw
a
the ball.
well
Yeah, you
that
could.
and he did it based off one single play. And I was like,
Yeah,
they bit when they thought there was a fumble. Like, so you're
yeah.
you're hoping that it's a guarantee every time they're gonna bite on it.
Well, yeah, you're putting your money on that instinct over discipline.
Right,
You know, those guys are chasing the ball and not the play.
right.
Not into who they're guarding or whatever. And it did work. And I'm probably you're going to see it quite a bit more this next season, I would imagine.
Yeah,
Those systems that are like developed already, like like the Lions, or next year will be like Jaden Daniels in Washington will probably take a step forward if their line and stuff stays similar.
yeah. I would say so. That's what I got
Look,
for NFL news.
um, that's actually quite a bit of news for nothing really happening around the league.
Yeah,
Um,
we're just coming up on
the
that time of year where we're waiting for the draft,
the
which
draft,
is that the
free
last
agency.
weekend of April?
Uh, yeah, yeah, and it's in Green Bay,
Oh, is it
by the
really?
way. Yep. Those listeners that catch us before the draft, Bears are doing a contest. Just give your name and email, phone number, and they're sending 2 fans, all inclusive up to the draft. You get one piece of Bears memorabilia, get to sit in with some coaching on draft day 1, some coaches and stuff. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they do a lot of that stuff. I feel like they're pretty good at doing that.
Yeah, and there's also a draft day party going on at Soldier Field, I believe is where they're hosting it. Maybe House Hall, but I think it's Soldier Field. Which I went to one year and it was really cool. They do seminars with former players, current players. They show the draft. They let you walk on the field. That year I met Urlacher.
Oh, cool.
So they had autograph signing. And they have different levels. So if you buy like higher levels, you get to meet more players and stuff.
Hmm, very cool.
Yep. VIP gets to take a picture with Virginia McCaskey in the casket.
Just at a gravestone, or
No, it's just like they got plexiglass top on it.
oh, there's this new thing where they're like taxiderming people, but it's like they're plastifying them or something. Maybe they did that with Virginia, and like she's just like a stand-up model now.
Yeah, make her a honey bear out of spite.
Oh my god.
Okay,
She's
we're gonna
just
get canceled.
just
I apologize.
we just got a puppeteer.
We were chanting "Sell the team," though, so
Yeah,
our disrespect knows no bounds.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, I saw a picture on the internet of a lady that had her Chihuahua taxidermied in a sleeping position, and it was on her mantle, and it looked like the damn dog was just sleeping on the mantle.
Yeah,
I'm like, no, thanks, dude. I don't. I
yeah.
don't. I'm already sad enough it's dead. Now I got to look at it like it's still alive.
Right. I don't love that at all.
Yeah, and that's my daughter.
Yeah. Ugh. That's that's
um,
weird.
just a quick fallback to like, do you like Parsons?
As a
Do you like it? Would you want him to be a bear?
uh so if we had unlimited amount of money and I was on Madden with like no franchise, yeah. Yeah, I like him. I think he's a good
Yeah,
player.
yeah.
I think they don't help him much on the defensive line though, I will say.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But
But
he's definitely like one of the he's that new style where it's like he's very much so a slimmer like type of DN that's just quick.
he's quick in it, so he can also do some coverage.
Yeah.
Um, but he's got all the extracurriculars too. It's like, damn, do you really want your dude all over and traveling the world in the off season doing podcasts and stuff? Too.
Yeah.
I get it. It's a new era. They're going to be doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Um, I like his talent, but it's like I don't want that type of dude anymore. I want like the quiet killers.
Yeah.
Miles Garrett's and stuff.
Yeah. I wouldn't call him a
Uh,
quiet killer. He actively tried to kill somebody on a NFL field in front of cameras.
that was one time with the helmet, and turns out everyone wants to do that to Mason Rudolph. No, okay. No. Yeah, he's not. And he actually had gravestones of all the quarterbacks he'd sacked out in front of his house during Halloween. So, yeah, maybe not the quietest killer. He literally
Yeah.
advertises it. But that type of dude that's just doing the work, like
Right.
Aaron Donald, you know?
Yeah.
I think they all have that kind of attitude because they do. Their job is to
But by the
get another
way,
dude.
I want to apologize. I was so
Sure.
confused with the baseball season. Apparently the games in between Japan and like this Thursday were also still just spring training games.
Oh, they didn't count for nothing?
No,
Dodgers games didn't?
the Dodgers games did. Then there was another like week break that they were
The
playing like
Tokyo.
spring
Yeah.
training games,
Yeah.
and then Thursday they started
Really?
back up again.
Enough? There's not enough baseball?
Yeah, I was very confused. I thought
We're
they were
doing
just losing a bunch of games.
175 games now.
Yeah, Actually, I
But
heard
guess
what you
what?
said, Rizzo, and actually we've increased it.
We slowed the games down. They're 5 hours now, and we made more games.
Yeah, because let's see, because the Cubs are actually, um, they are
I saw PCA.
that crazy
Crow
throw.
yeah,
Yeah,
like you couldn't have thrown a better dart. It landed right where it needed to land to get the dude out.
I thought it hit him in
And
the head at first.
they called him safe, and then they had to go look at it.
Yeah, they're 2-4. So 2-2 if you don't count the Dodgers game, which
Got to count them because they're going to be in the playoffs.
yeah,
It's like you got to get over that giant, dude.
right. Because we've been playing the Diamondbacks, right? Yeah, and they're 2-2.
And they've been adding more pieces. Even the Dodgers.
Yeah,
The only reason I root for the Dodgers is because they're playing the Yankees. That is it.
yeah. Yeah.
Other than that, I'm out on the Dodgers. I'm sick of that. Because in baseball, you do have the opportunity to go out and pay for better teams. If you want to pay luxury tax or whatever.
Right.
Let me run the happy can, and then when we come back, let's do just a quick run over of the draft. Before we talk about the one of the games you got, and then I want to check up on hockey too here.
Oh, yeah, I got a long list of hockey for you.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know there's stuff happening, so
Sunday I'm actually more prepared, so this is nice.
yeah, it's a better day. Where? There it is.
All right, Bears fans, before we dive back into the game talk, we've got to shout out today's sponsor, the Happy Can.
If you're looking for a refreshing way to unwind after a long day without the alcohol, but with all the chill vibes, the Happy Can is definitely where it's at.
Happy Can is a lab-tested, vegan-friendly, alcohol-free beverage that's infused with THC and CBD. Whether you're kicking back at home or catching up with friends, it's the perfect way to relax without the hangover.
Exactly. It's crafted for those of us who are over 21 and want to enjoy the benefits of THC and CBD without any of the alcohol. Plus, it's delicious, responsibly sourced, and did we mention it's vegan friendly?
Yep, no sketchy ingredients, just pure chill in a can. So if you're looking for something new to sip on, grab yourself a Happy Can and keep those good vibes going.
Make sure to check them out on buythehappycan.com and use code BARELYHAPPY for a special discount for just our listeners. Cheers to a happy, healthier way to unwind. Make sure you guys check out Happy Can. You saw Ryan's drinking one. We enjoy them. It's like the really only alternative to smoking.
Yeah.
As far as that I would use personally, because I don't
I'm
edibles.
Yeah, I'm personally not a smoker, so this is nice to have this instead, where
Yeah.
you kind of just get to relax and drink it.
It is a nice alternative.
Yeah.
I will say it just kind of like similar to what alcohol does, take the edge off a little bit, but not to where you're impaired or nothing.
Right.
So you want to talk about hockey?
Yeah, you want to jump into that now?
Yeah, let's talk about hockey, and then when we come back, we'll let's talk about a couple of the what you thinking on our draft spot, and then we'll go into that game.
Yeah,
because we're about 24 minutes in now, and we have that interview too. So
yeah. So I'll start off with the current playoff seedings, because I know you ask about that every time. So I just want to break that down for you. The current playoff seedings, if the playoffs started right now, you would have out of the Atlantic, the Maple Leafs against the first wild card, which is the Senators. You'd have the second team out of the Atlantic, which is the Panthers. And they would be facing the third Atlantic team, which is the Tampa Bay Lightning. And then this is for the East, by the way. For the I'm blanking on what that is. The Caps would go against the Rangers. The Hurricanes would go against the Devils. Then for the West, the see. The first central team would be the Jets facing off against the second wild card, which is the Blues of the West. The second central team is the Stars. They'd be going against the third central team, which is the Avalanche. And then we would have the Knights versus the first wild card, which is the Wild. The Kings versus the Oilers. So kind of a fun playoff set there, I would say. For the East, the Atlantic, the Lightning and Panthers would not have much travel time. They're both in Florida, so that would pretty much be home games for both of them, I feel like. But we had a Gretzky career record broken, but it was not Ovi. It was actually Crosby broke the points per game career record. So season average points per game. So he broke that. What's that?
What is the average?
I need to look that up because I wasn't 100% sure.
I'm just curious. It can't be that many, right? I mean, geez. Oh.
It is. Well, that's not right because it's just changed. Okay, now I can't find it because these don't seem updated. It's points per game.
That's women's. Okay, that makes more sense. I was like, Duke got beat? Yes, the women got beat by South Carolina. And UCLA women are in their first championship.
Oh, nice.
In Final Four. First Final Four ever for UCLA women's. Which UCLA is like a storied program, men's side.
Right. I can't find it for some reason, but
that's okay. What would your guess be? A couple?
Yeah, just kind of around that one.
We looked it up, like similar, like what the average NHL goals per game was, a 3 or something was what we came up with. But yeah, so that makes sense. But that's huge, right?
Right.
I mean,
1.25 per game in his career. Point. And that's assist and goal.
In every game is crazy, right? I mean,
yeah,
just averaging a goal a game. They're hard to come by. I mean, really, when I watched hockey, which was probably late '90s, like watching a little bit, and then of course that mid 2000s run of the Blackhawks.
Right.
I remember when that Deep Horizon well had was just leaking oil out. They kept saying and send the goalie from Blackhawks down there, Miami or whoever, plug it because he can stop everything or whatever. I just remember that meme. But back then, I mean, it's I'm sure it's similar to now. It's goals are few and far between.
Yeah. Then we had Ovi is 5 goals away from his record, beating
5 with how many games left?
There is only a few because I know playoffs are just around the corner.
Oh, they'll count postseason, right?
See, I don't know 100%. I would assume so because I think it's just career goals.
Right.
But I'm not 100%.
There's no Blackhawks anywhere near these playoffs, right?
No, God no. They won 21 games so far this year. That's it.
Yeah. Just checking. Blackhawks first rounders set to debut versus Utah. So they're actually just playing their rookies.
Yeah. Yeah, he was coming out.
Level contract for Oliver Moore and defenseman Sam Renzel. Moore and Renzel play the University of Minnesota this season, so they're good at hockey because Minnesota seems to be making hockey players up there.
Yeah. They just lost though. The other day.
So what about that hockey, that college hockey? What is that? 2004, I believe you called it.
Yeah, the Frozen Four was left. The Boston. Sorry, there's 9 games left. It looks like.
Okay.
Take
it easy. Really?
Yeah. Uh, the yeah. So the bracket for the um Division 1 hockey tournament bracket um is so the last 4 teams are the Frozen Four. Uh,
So this is their March Madness.
yeah, yeah,
Is it for now?
basically. And the I think it was Denver who was Boston. I was just watching before we started recording. Um, Denver and Boston play against each other, which was pretty cool. Denver actually, I believe, unless something changed in the last, yeah, Denver won 3-1. So they will move on, and then they play. Let's see. It looks like uh, Providence, maybe. No, they beat Providence. Sorry, ESPN is making this like insanely hard to read.
Target Center. Sorry. I'm looking at that Pistons and Mavs had a brawl.
Oh, did it
Five players,
really?
two, 5 players and 2 coaches were ejected the second quarter.
Oh, okay. Penn State
spilled
beat
in-
UConn. Denver beat Boston. So Penn State and Denver will play for the hockey national championship.
which is when?
Should be. God, ESPN does not make this easy.
Yeah.
So they advanced to the Frozen Four. They just hockey, college hockey is hard to find like on ESPN for some reason.
Yeah, I don't even use ESPN. Yeah, since you guys rid of Dan Levitard, boys, you've been messing up.
Yeah, right. I actually was very upset when that happened.
Yeah, I loved Levitard, to be honest with you. That was my kind of sports because there was like a lot of comedy and stuff mixed in, making fun of each other. I did want to say that we need to coin a phrase quickly because there was a skirmish at the Target Center. Like the Malice at the Palace. What do you call this?
Oh, what would you call that? Target
It's
Center.
called Target Center.
I don't know.
Where the Timberwolves play. It's Timberwolves, not Mavs. Timberwolves and Pistons. Well, it rhymes with center. It is another word for fight.
Target brawl instead of mall. I don't know. Yeah, good luck.
The Target Center. There was a target on the center's face. No.
Yeah. Okay, so I figured it out. I got it. I went to NCAA.com. So the Frozen Four is actually this week. So on April 10th, which seems like a long time away. Jeez. Denver will play Western Michigan, and Penn State will play Boston University. Winner of those will go to the championship.
Wow, that's like it's the 30th.
Yeah, which the championship is on the 12th.
So they have kind of back to back.
Yeah,
I get it though. There's traveling and all that stuff. I mean, basketball kind of does that. They take a freaking half a week off.
Yeah.
The middle of the tournament.
Play all the games at once. Yeah.
Yeah. So understandable there, but yeah, I was just trying to real quickly get us famous because if we could coin a phrase.
Yeah, I just
they
said
Malice at the Palace for 20 years.
Yeah.
There
was a couple other pieces of news.
Who you root for in that Final Four then? Picking a team to win it.
I will go. Let's see. Penn State's kind of ran away with it a little bit, but let's go for the underdogs. Let's go for Denver. I'm gonna go Denver. I'm gonna say Denver's gonna win. They're fun to watch in the Boston College game, so we'll see what happens.
That's Denver. University of Colorado, Denver, or
what? Yeah, I don't know what Denver.
freaking college is in Denver.
Yeah. Probably just some.
We should have asked Kyle. He's from
Yeah.
there. So, let's see.
But a couple other pieces of information too
More
for
mentor at the
NHL.
Target Center.
Yeah,
More mentor at the Target.
that's a
Our
name.
mentor. Uh, just looking up some words here. Just trying to.
It's just University of Denver.
Okay.
Private
Nice.
Research University.
That must be the only thing they're good at. It's hockey. I've never heard of that school.
They only have a 77% graduation rate.
Repenter at the Target Center.
Let's see. So, a cool thing happened this week too with hockey. Ovi made sure all the Capitals did not leave the ice because they honored Marc-Andre Fleury with a handshake, and probably what is their most likely last matchup because this is Fleury's 21st season, so he's probably retiring after this.
Yeah.
He's been a hell of a goalie over the last 21 seasons, so I will say.
I bet those two have some battles.
Yeah, and it's very cool to see him do that because
There's a lot of that in hockey, like just respect for the
Yeah.
sport, you know,
Yeah.
amongst players, like not being in the same room with the cup if you haven't won it, that sort of stuff. Is just
yeah,
like you don't see it a lot anymore.
rookies don't
You
wear
know,
their
'cause that,
buckets going out.
yeah, that's all stuff that's like very traditional that a lot of sports have kind of gotten away from. You know,
Yeah.
baseball was another one that was like that, and they've kind of like tried to modernize it a little bit.
Yeah,
I love the fact that like you can still modernize your sport and keep some of that stuff out of respect for the guy's shoulders that you're standing on, so to speak. You know.
right. Yeah, I 100% agree. And then I also believe we are seeing Connor Bedard's villain arc, because
Really?
I think he's just fed up with this crap. Lately, like he's been getting tripped with no calls, a bunch of that stuff. So the other night, actually, he got shoved down without a penalty called, so he just held onto the guy's stick and got him pissed off, and they were just about to start fighting, and he is not a fighter, so it was very
But you
interesting.
can it's wearing
Yeah,
on him.
yeah, and then there's kind of a shining light to him. Donato for the Blackhawks also had a hat trick the other night versus the Golden Knights. Unfortunately, the Golden Knights scored 5, and Donato was the only one to score a point. So it was 5-3, and they still lost with a hat trick. And then there was
That's
a
gotta
really
be that just drive
Yeah.
you, right?
yeah, and then there was also a cool play where I believe it was Bedard kind of had a little bit of a breakaway, and then kind of had 2 bounces off of the goalie, and then I can't remember who it was that followed behind him. I think it might have been Donato. Came behind him and actually scored. So Donato's kind of been a shining light all of a sudden, kind of bringing back a little bit of a spark. Obviously, way too late in the season, but um, kind of a shining light for next year at least.
Yeah. But what is this team's problem?
The Blackhawks do not know how to run an organization since 2010.
So similar to the
Yeah,
Bears
yeah. Yep, I'm in a world of
and
man.
obviously White Sox. For that matter.
Yeah.
Cubs have been that way off and on. Just depends on what year.
Yeah. I was gonna look